Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really fascinating source in front of us today. It's excerpts from a Buddhist talk, like a sermon given in Thailand way back in May 1954.
Yeah, it's a Bhattānumodanākathā. That's a specific kind of talk, often given after, receiving offerings or donations. It blends blessings with teachings.
Okay, so it's a very particular context.
Definitely. It gives us a real snapshot of a certain time and a specific perspective on these ideas.
Right. And our goal here, as always, is to help you unpack this material, find the really key insights, and, well, make sense of what might seem a bit complex.
Make it clear and accessible.
Exactly. We're looking at core Buddhist practices, giving, morality, meditation, things you might have heard about. But this source presents them, and the whole spiritual path, actually, in a way that's, well, it's pretty unique.
It really is. It takes these foundational concepts, but overlays them with this very specific internal geography, this internal process. It's quite something.
Okay, so let's dive right in then. The talk starts by setting the stage with some fundamental Pali phrases. These are really the bedrock of the practice described here. First up, we hear Dāna deti, Sīla rakati, Bhāvanā bhaveti. What does that tell us right away?
So those are the three, the big three actions. Dāna is giving or generosity. Sīla is keeping the moral precepts, ethical conduct. And Bhāvanā is mental cultivation, which usually means meditation.
Okay, the absolute basics.
Yeah.
Giving, morality, meditation.
Yeah, these are pretty universal across Buddhism, really, foundational practices.
Right, and then it moves straight into something else that's just essential. Buddha sarahati, Dhamme sarahati, Sangha sarahati.
Raya sada. That's trust or confidence or faith, depending on how you translate it. Faith in the Buddha, faith in the Dhamma, his teachings, and faith in the Sangha, the community of practitioners.
The triple gem.
The triple gem, exactly. In Thai, that's Pharaoratana Tray. And the source here explicitly calls this triple gem the true essence or the core principle of Buddhism.
And it frames it as being essential for what? For saving oneself, I think was the phrase used in the text. Iota tu arorti.
Yeah, sort of like getting through or ensuring one's own well-being, spiritually speaking. It's fundamental. And there's that other line, too, adhamunera dhammopapati sugatinti.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, it's basically cause and effect. Karma, really. Unrighteousness, or adhama, leads down, leads to suffering, to bad states, naraya. But righteousness, dhamma, leads up, leads to well-being, good destinations, sugati.
So right from the start, it's grounding us in. Practice these core actions. Take refuge in the triple gem and understand that your actions have consequences. Standard stuff so far, maybe?
Pretty standard framework, yes, but then
it takes this turn. I mean, a turn you might not expect after laying out the triple gem as the core refuge. It makes this, well, pretty surprising claim.
It really does. It says, okay, this triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, it's not just something out there that you have faith in. It's actually within you.
Within you. Like, literally, not just a metaphor for inner potential.
No, the text is incredibly specific about this. It says the triple gem is located right at the center that makes the human body. The Thai phrase is Sung Glang Duang Tam Ti Tam Hai Pangai Manut.
Wow. And it gives this anatomical description. It says, find the line from your navel straight through to your back. Then find the line from the middle of your right side straight through to the left, where those two lines cross.
Right, at that intersection point.
Yeah, that precise center. And there, it says, is a sphere, described as clear, pure, like the yolk of a chicken's egg.
It's such a vivid image, isn't it? It anchors this profound spiritual concept to a very specific, tangible point inside our own physical body.
It really does. And the talk hammers this home, saying this single point is the place of birth, death, sleep, and waking. Pigur, Tiap, the Lap, the Dab, the Hungdao, only one place for all of that.
That's a huge assertion, that the very root of our existence and the key to the whole path is right there at that one spot.
So, okay, if that's the location, what's the actual instruction? What are you supposed to do with this knowledge?
The core instruction, the absolute key to everything else in this talk, is simple but profound. Keep your mind stopped and still. Yatning, right there, at that central point.
Stop the mind. Make it still at that center.
Exactly. Just hold the attention there, unwavering.
And the immediate payoff for doing that.
Happiness. Simple as that. The text directly links this practice to that famous Pali phrase, nati santi parasukha.
Which means?
There is no other happiness higher than stillness or peace. So the whole idea is, by focusing and calming your mind right at the specific internal center, you tap into genuine happiness. And crucially, you're accessing the very essence of the triple gem, which it says resides right there within you.
So it's a very internal focused view of the whole spiritual quest. It all starts right there, inside.
Precisely. Everything unfolds from that central point.
Okay, so the practice starts there.
Yeah.
Bring the mind to the center, make it still. But the talk doesn't stop there, does it? It describes a path going much deeper. How do you actually explore further inward?
Right. The method given is kind of intriguing. It says you repeatedly go into the center of the center, glaong, kong, glong. From that initial point, you keep focusing deeper into the very middle of that middle point.
Like zooming in infinitely?
Sort of, yeah, like an inward dive that keeps going deeper and deeper into the core.
And as you make this inward journey into the center of the center, what do you actually encounter?
You find a sequence of inner spheres. The text calls them Dharma spheres, Duangtham. Each sphere represents a different stage of spiritual development or understanding.
Okay, can you give us some examples? What are these spheres?
Sure. The text lists them in a specific order. You encounter spheres representing contemplation of Dhamma, Dhammanupassana, Satipatthana, then Sīla, precepts or morality, then Samadhi, concentration, Panya, wisdom, Vimutti, liberation, and finally Vimutti Nyadasana, the knowledge and vision of liberation.
Wow. So these are core Buddhist path factors, but presented here as actual tangible spheres you find inside yourself.
Exactly. Luminous spheres discovered through this inward focusing. It's a very visual, experiential description of the path.
And passing through these spheres,
Yeah.
that leads to discovering different bodies, right?
Yeah.
The text talks about multiple bodies.
Yes, exactly. A whole series of progressively more subtle bodies, or kāya. Each one is accessed, it says, by going through the center of the previous body and its corresponding dharma spheres.
Okay, can you list some of them? It sounds complex.
It is quite layered. It starts with the physical human body, kāya manut. Then you access the subtle human body, kāya manut lakyat, like the dream body. Then there's the deva body, kāya thip. The subtle deva body, kāya thip layat. Then the Brahma body, kāya rupa from. Subtle Brahma, kāya rupa from layat. Arupa Brahma, kāya rupa from. And subtle Arupa Brahma, kāya rupa from layat. That's 8 right there.
8 subtle bodies, one inside the other, accessed by going deeper and deeper into the center.
Yeah.
And there's a 9th one, the Dhamma body.
Exactly. The 9th is the Dhamma body, kāya tham. And then even subtler, the subtle Dhamma body, thamma kāya layat. The text even mentions higher stages beyond that, corresponding to attainments like stream entry, once returner, etc. It says the Buddha knew a total of 18 such bodies.
18 bodies. Okay, but let's focus on that 9th one, the Dhamma body. What's that like, according to the source?
It's described visually. It resembles a Buddha image seated with a lotus bud shape on top of the head. And critically, it's said to be perfectly clear, brilliant, like a flawless mirror.
And this is where the triple gem within is fully realized. That connection is made here.
Yes, this is the key link. The source explains it very clearly. The Dhamma body itself is the Buddha gem Phutta Ratana. The luminous sphere at its center, the one that gives rise to it, is the Dhamma gem Dhamma Ratana. And the subtle Dhamma body inside that sphere is the Sangha gem, Sangha Ratana.
Wow. Okay, so the triple gem isn't just at the center. It is these nested, subtle forms you access by going deeper and deeper through stillness.
That's the picture it paints. The triple gem as this layered internal reality revealed through accessing these increasingly subtle inner bodies.
That's a really intricate internal cosmology they're describing. The text also mentions specific capabilities of these subtle bodies. What about the subtle human body, the kāya manut layat? You said it's like the dream body.
Yeah, that's what it says we experience when we dream. But it also attributes this other, maybe surprising, ability to it. It claims the subtle body can actually determine if someone is being honest or not.
Like a built-in lie detector. Seriously, how's that supposed to work?
Well, the text just says you can essentially ask your subtle body to investigate someone. The mechanism isn't spelled out in detail, but the idea is that this inner body, being subtler, can perceive things like intentions or truthfulness that are hidden from our ordinary physical senses and mind.
And this leads to what it calls 2 layers of wisdom. Panya Songchan.
Exactly. There's the ordinary wisdom we use every day, operating through the physical body and brain. And then there's this deeper, more intuitive, penetrating wisdom that comes from accessing and utilizing the subtle body. 2 distinct levels of knowing.
Okay, that connects interestingly to another quote they bring up. Nati loka rahonama.
Ah, yes. There is no secret in the world. A classic phrase. But the source gives it a very particular interpretation here.
Which is?
It claims secrets exist only within the limitations of the physical human body. Once you access these subtle bodies, the subtle human, the Deva body, the Brahma body, and so on, the concept of secrecy just dissolves. Everything becomes transparent at those deeper levels.
So secrets are only possible because of our coarse physical perception.
That's the implication. The subtle realms, according to this teaching, are realms of complete openness, no hidden corners. It's a really striking idea about the nature of consciousness and reality.
Okay, let's shift gears just a bit. The talk also addresses a really fundamental question in any spiritual path. Where does merit bun? In Thai, what does it actually come from?
Right, and it uses these nice, simple analogies to get us thinking. Like, you wouldn't think rain comes from digging underground, would you? Or, like, the story of the royal person who didn't know rice came from a field thinking it just magically appeared in the pot or the bowl.
Pointing out that things have a specific origin we might overlook.
Exactly, and just like rain comes from clouds and rice from fields, merit, bun, and its opposite, demerit, bap, also have a specific source point, according to this teaching.
And where is that source? Still internal?
Still internal, deeply internal. It's described as the ocean of merit, Thaleban. And you find it by continuing that process, going into the center of the center from the body's initial central point. It's portrayed as this vast internal reservoir of positive potential or energy.
Not something you just get from outside actions alone.
The actions generate it, but its source, its storage, is deep within. The talk also brings in these two opposing forces that influence our lives.
Right. Mara and the Buddha.
Yes. Mara, Manan in Thai pronunciation here, represents the force pulling towards suffering, creating obstacles. And the Buddha, Phra, represents the force working against suffering, towards liberation. These are seen as active forces shaping our experience, connected to our accumulated merit and demerit.
And how does our merit relate to all those inner bodies and spheres we talked about?
It says the merit we accumulate attaches to those Dharma spheres, the Dongtham, within each successive body. So there's a sphere of merit in the human body center, another in the subtle human body center, another in the Deva body center, and so on as you progress inwards.
So your merit is sort of layered within you along with these subtle bodies.
That's the idea. It's stored within this inner structure.
Okay, so then what happens after death, according to this framework?
Well, the physical body, Gaimanut, perishes, obviously. But the subtle human body, Gaimanut Layat, the dreamlike body, departs. And here's the crucial part. The sphere of merit located within that subtle human body is the primary determinant for the next rebirth. It calls this Chanokakam Nam Paikot.
The karma that leads to birth, so your destiny, your next life, is literally carried within that inner merit sphere inside the subtle body.
Yes, that's exactly what it's saying. If you have accumulated significant merit, that sphere leads you to a favorable rebirth, maybe high status among humans, born into royalty or a wealthy family, or perhaps rebirth in one of the heavenly realms.
And if you've accumulated demerit,
then the sphere of demerit leads downwards to unfavorable rebirths, the hell realms, the animal realm, the ghost realm, and so on.
And this is presented as a natural law.
Completely. It's described as unfolding according to your own internal state, penpi tamkati kongtan. It's not a judgment, just consequence. The text even uses that Pali phrase, kama vipako achintayo. The results of karma are basically unimaginable or inconceivable.
It's so complex.
Exactly, because it unfolds across all these different layers of existence, these different subtle bodies, in ways we can't easily grasp with just our ordinary minds.
Okay, this brings us to a really practical piece of advice in the source, doesn't it? It says it's not enough just to earn merit. You have to know how to, what was the phrase? Find and use it effectively. Ha bun dai lai chai bun pen.
Yes, this is a really key teaching here. Finding merit is one thing, using it is another. And where is it found? Back to the center. That accumulated merit resides right there at the center of the Dharma sphere in the human body.
And the technique for using it, for activating it.
It's the same core instruction again. Focus the mind. Make it stopped and still yet ning right at that central point where the merit is located. That's how you access and harness its power.
And the talk gets very direct about this, especially when you're facing, life's problem.
It's very direct. It says, look, when you run into trouble, your business is failing, relationships are a mess, whatever hardship comes, don't look outside for magical solutions. Don't rely on, ghosts, faya, local spirits, jiao, or praying to sacred trees. Don't just access it.
It explicitly says those things are powerless.
It explicitly says they are powerless compared to a human being who has actually accumulated merit within themselves. The real power isn't out there.
It's inside. So instead of looking for external help,
Look inward. Focus your mind right there on the merit at your own center. That's presented as the real refuge, the real source of strength.
and it uses that famous story to illustrate this point, doesn't it? Prince Siddhartha and the Earth Goddess.
Yeah, the story of defeating Mara, it's a classic, but used here specifically to show the power of internally held merit. When Mara challenged Siddhartha's right to enlightenment, saying, "Who is your witness?" the prince didn't argue or fight back conventionally.
He just touched the earth.
Right. Calling the earth goddess, Nang Pratharani, to bear witness to the merit he'd accumulated over countless lifetimes, and she rises up and wrings out her hair.
And the water that flows out represents.
All the water poured during ceremonies dedicating merit after acts of giving. It represents countless past good deeds, and this flood of merit water sweeps away Mara and his entire army.
Wow. So it's a powerful metaphor for merit not being just a passive score, but an active force you can draw upon.
Exactly. An internal power that provides refuge and strength, access through inner focus. It's not something external you pray to, it's something internal you activate.
So this isn't just about where you'll be reborn later. It's about having an inner resource to deal with challenges right here, right now.
That's precisely the teaching. By repeatedly focusing your mind at the center on that merit sphere and going into the center of the center, you're not just tapping into stored merit. You're also progressing through those inner spheres, Sīla, Samadhi, Paññāña, morality, concentration, wisdom, and accessing the deeper bodies.
Which increases your
It
ability.
increases your capability, your insight, your resilience, your ability to handle whatever life throws at you.
The source actually defines a wise person based on this, a pandita or pandithi.
Yes. A truly wise person, according to this text, is someone who not only knows how to earn merit, but crucially, knows how to find it within themselves and use it effectively by keeping the mind focused and still at that center point.
Okay, nearly there. Let's quickly summarize the benefits of those core practices, giving, precepts, meditation, as this source lists them. Just to wrap things up, what did it say about giving, Dāna?
Giving, it says, leads to 5 specific results: long life, beauty, happiness, strength, and intelligence. It actually references a sutta saying, the giver of life shares in life, yukodattva yusabagihoti.
And it had that very specific claim about giving a meal.
Yeah, haha, it throws that in. Giving just one meal, it claims, can add 7 days to your life expectancy. Very precise.
Okay, grounding the abstract in the concrete again. What about keeping precepts, Sīla?
The benefit there is primarily peaceful coexistence. It leads to physical and verbal purity, which means you can feel happy and secure even among many people. You're free from harm, free from conflict, basically. Social harmony.
Makes sense. And mental cultivation, Bhāvanā, or meditation.
That brings inner peace, calmness. But interestingly, it also links it to the ability to acquire wealth and resources, to foster community growth, and generally provide aid in all kinds of matters. So it's seen as foundational for both inner well-being and outer success.
Interesting connection. And it also listed 5 essential virtues, didn't it?
Yes, the 5 kunatham, giving thān, morality, sin, listening to the Dhamma, sutta meaning study or learning here, renunciation or sacrifice, jhaka, and wisdom, paññā. Perfecting these 5, it says, is what allows you to aspire to the highest spiritual goals, even enlightenment.
And the very final thought from the sermon, it brings it right back to that central point, right?
Absolutely. It concludes by reiterating, merit shows up internally as a clear, bright sphere at the center. Demerit shows up as a black, murky sphere. The relative size and brightness of these determines your rebirth in happy or unhappy realms.
And this is just how it works.
It's presented as a natural law, an unchangeable consequence of your own actions. Enpe tam kati kongtan.
So the final call to action from this particular source is crystal clear. Yes, strive to make merit, do good things. But just as vital, maybe even more so, is learning how to access and use that merit.
By bringing the mind to stillness, yatning, at its source, right there at the center within you. That's the key to progress, the key to navigating challenges, and ultimately, the key to shaping your destiny.
It really places the power, the potential, and the entire path firmly inside the individual, accessible through this very specific kind of focused internal practice.
It's quite a unique perspective, isn't it?
It really is. This has been a fascinating deep dive. Thank you for bringing this source to light.
My pleasure. It certainly offers a distinct way of looking at these familiar Buddhist concepts.
It absolutely does. I mean,
Yeah.
that core idea that the triple gem, the path itself, even your accumulated merit, it's all located within you. Specifically at this defined point in the body, reached through mental stillness.
Wow.
That puts a very different spin on ideas like taking refuge or making merit.
It really internalizes them, doesn't it? Transforms them from maybe abstract or external things into concrete inner realities you can directly experience and work with.
Yeah. So maybe here's a thought for you, the listener, to take away from our deep dive today. What if the greatest resource you have for navigating life, for finding real happiness, for even shaping your future, what if it isn't somewhere out there? What if it's literally inside you, at your own center, accessible just through focused attention, through making the mind stopped and still? How might exploring that inner dimension, even just experimenting with that simple founding instruction, keep the mind stopped and still at the center? How might that change your approach to challenges and maybe your whole understanding of yourself and your potential? Something to think about.